The scripture today is from Tenrikyo Ofudisaki 3.4. Anything and everything of this universe is all the body of God. So ends the reading. The smallest change in nature can have a very large effect on everything. This is sometimes called the butterfly effect. The idea that the flutter of a butterfly's wings can affect a tropical storm on the other side of the earth. This theory assumes the interconnectedness of all things in nature. The same interconnectedness also applies to the mental and spiritual aspects of our universe. When you happen to be in the right place at the right time and an opportunity falls in your lap, is it luck or is it a manifestation? What if you could create your own luck and make coincidences happen? Even if you could create a few miracles in your life, can you create the butterfly effect? David Spangler, in his book, Everyday Miracles, The Inner Art of Manifestation, presented concepts that merge science and spiritual theory in analyzing our ability to participate in the unfolding events in our lives. He goes beyond the concepts of affirmation and visualization. When David was a young boy, he loved bread. And at the age of 10, he and his parents were on a trip. And it was late at night, and they were walking along. They could smell fresh bread baking. And they went and they were looking in the bakery, and the door was locked. Yeah, he was disappointed. So they're walking down the street, and they hear someone yelling to them. And it's a policeman. And he comes running up with a loaf of bread and hands it to him. David loved bread. As an adult, one day he was driving home from work. He'd had a really bad day. You know, one of those days where you're driving home, you're just white knuckling your steering wheel. And he started really enjoying the anger. And he was visioning himself with a hammer breaking glass. He could just see himself doing it. And all of a sudden, a truck went by him and threw a rock into his windshield and shattered it. Both these instances, he appeared to create his reality. Science has proven that the electron of an atom can be both a particle of matter and a wave of energy. Our notion of reality is built on everyday experiences. The reality of wave-particle duality is so different that we are forced to re-examine our common understanding of what we're observing in the physical world. Something we might consider as a solid can change into energy and travel in the same manner as a sound wave or a light wave. Can this understanding of physics shed some light on the seemingly coincidences that occur in our lives? We say some people are just lucky. Other people, we might say, man, they just always seem to have bad luck, Shortly after the author wanted a hot loaf of bread, and after visualizing the smashed glass, those two events, were these coincidences? Or did he manifest his own good and bad luck? In his book, he presents a theory that everything we do in life creates patterns. These patterns are energy waves, vibrations. This is very close to our metaphysical belief, that project out into the universe and interact with other energy waves. Everything has energy in our consciousness. Our thoughts have energy. Everything, even the seemingly empty air, is made out of atoms. And we know all those atoms have energy. They have electrons and protons cruising around, staying together. They have consciousness. People, physical objects, all of nature are creating these patterns, these energy patterns. The author visualizes the world as a huge web of interacting threads of energy. It might look like many spider webs overlaying each other. Our traditional metaphysical literature states that thoughts are things and they attract like thoughts. He expands the concept to the idea that when your being is present, centered, and focused, You'll attract what you're focusing on if you've got a clear intent. Like vibrations will attract like vibrations. We can contemplate why some people seem to be lucky and some people don't. We've all been on a losing streak when it just seems nothing goes right. And then there's times when it seems like everything goes right. Does your general outlook on life open up or close doors for you? Do you generally see the glass as half full or half empty? When a person desires something, many times the feeling is that the object, the relationship, or whatever it is you desire is separate from yourself. Modern physics views that separation does not exist. We are all connected at some level by these infinite number of energy waves, the complex series of overlapping spider webs that David Spangler visualized. Assuming we are connected to all people and things, when we desire something, when we want to manifest something, we don't need to get outside of ourselves to get it. Our task is to modify our internal patterns, to allow the energy, the thought, or the thing to flow through us, through these interconnecting waves. We could draw an analogy between these connections and an electrical wire. If there's a short in a wire, or if there's too much energy for the size of the wire, electricity will not flow. Our ability to interact and attract what we want is dependent on our ability to focus on our desires and allow it to flow into our lives. Metaphysicians sometimes describe this as living and feeling like you already have what it is you desire. Being in that frame of mind, physically, mentally, emotionally, I already have it, because then you can attract it. You create that vibration internally. An internal vibration that harmonizes with what you want. Manifestation of something new requires change. It may be something as minor as saving money for a new outdoor grill, or as major as researching a new job or a new place to live. David Spangler was counseling a woman who had a good marriage. He asked her how she had met her husband. She said she decided to make a list of all the things she would want in a person. Among the things she wanted was someone that was kind, humorous, romantic, responsible. She wanted someone to be a good father because she knew she wanted kids. She said she didn't care if he was handsome. She just wanted someone that took pride in himself. So she formed this list, this image. She held this image in her mind every day for months, but nothing happened. She met no one who fit the picture she has created. Then she realized that if she was looking for her ideal mate, he was probably looking for his. What kind of woman and partner would this man, the one I visualized, want? In short, who should she be internally in order to be a complement to her ideal partner? Once she visualized what her new self would be like, she began making changes to be that person. She stopped smoking. She took up a program of physical exercise. She took a gourmet cooking class. Because she wanted a partner who would have empathy, she volunteered at a homeless shelter to build up that empathetic side of her personality. The important thing she realized, if she did all these things simply as a means to an end and had no real internal change, it was like that electrical wire that has a short in it. To really be open to the universe, she had to be that energy. She knew she had to make these changes for herself. She focused on changing her values and habits, not to adopt a lifestyle for a few months and then drop it once she made her catch. She was altering her current reality from the inside out by honoring the authenticity, integrity of the new reality she was creating. A couple months after she started this process, she met someone who met her match exactly and discovered that he had created an image of someone, and she met his image. Within weeks, they were husband and wife, and when the book was written, they were still together. Will you always manifest exactly what you want? So you do everything right? No. But if your manifestation improves your outlook, your self-image, or any aspect of your life, you may benefit far more than you would if you received exactly what you want. So often we're really not very good at our wishes. As we've all heard, God works in mysterious ways, but we have to do our part. All manifestations are not created equally. The effort required depends on what you are manifesting. The work will be in proportion to how big the project is you want to change. What are you trying to change? Believing in your ability to manifest what you want is not an excuse to deny difficult situations in your life. A big part of being open to new energy is accepting exactly where you are right now in your life. If you're denying reality, you are short-circuiting some of the energy transfer between you and the universe. Being in the present with a clear mind and relaxed body allows you to understand and accept yourself the way you are. This is the starting point. Meditation allows you to go into a quiet place and observe your thoughts. Observing your thoughts allows you to understand where you are right now and to understand which are the positive thoughts, which are the ones that help you, and which are the ones that are holding you back. Understanding yourself at a true level, at a heart level. A consultant had developed a business plan and was looking for new clients. He was not having any success. He met a guy on the plane who was looking for the exact skills he possessed. The consultant had prepared himself. He had his whole elevator speech. He was ready. And when he met this guy, he laid it out there and he got the job. But he had prepared himself for it. In the author's experience, it often works out that you manifest opportunities to fulfill your desire rather than the thing, the person or condition itself. If so, you must be ready to act positively. You must be ready to be committed when the universe presents that opportunity to you. I'm sure we've all had these times where something came along and lady said, man, I should have done that. But you have to be ready to do it. The opportunity may come as an intuition that requires perhaps immediate action. An example of intuition happened to me was during tax season working in an accounting firm. In addition to the consistent year-round work, we know that in the beginning of the year, all those tax returns are due. And so I always tried to hire 2 to 4 extra people in tax season so my normal people could just work 40 hours and not burn them out. And, it takes a lot of effort to find experienced people that will work part-time. But if you do it, you can figure it out. In metaphysics, we teach that in your hardest times, when you're really down, that's when you need to do the work. When everything's going great, it's easy. But when you need it, you do the work. And I'm sitting there at the beginning of tax season at home, reading a book on metaphysics. I'm sitting there reading it, and all of a sudden, there's a line in it, and it says, be aware of what's around you. And when I read it, it was like I got heavy. My whole body got heavy. And it's like I could hear the words talking to me. And I immediately, physically, intuitively knew this was talking to me, this book. And I just started looking. I looked over here and I brought my attention around. And right here at chest level was a piece of paper floating in the air. And there was a heater vent. There was a heater vent down there, and it was holding the paper up. And I just reached out and picked it up. Okay. And I looked at it. And that week, a woman had called my office and she wanted to interview for this part-time job. And I'd forgotten to call her back. And there's her name and her number. I pick up a phone and call her. She had perfect experience, just wanted to work part-time, and she worked with me for many years. But I can still just remember reading that book, and it was like, hey, come on, man. Look around, slow down. How long does the manifestation take? It depends on your situation. What are you manifesting? How encompassing are your goals? How much are you trying to change? A friend of mine seems to always be positive and excited. I've known him since college. We were talking once and he said, I like to have a 5-year goal on something besides work. Besides his full-time job, he always keeps focused and dedicates a lot of his time to his hobbies. I mean, his hobbies are just as important as his work. Some of his past 5-year diversions include he acted in local plays long enough that he kind of became a local celebrity. He learned to sail. He bought a sailboat and he took multiple 2- and 3-week ocean cruises alone. Currently, on the side, he's built a cabin in West Virginia, general contractor. It's a real nice place. It's off the grid. He designed an electrical system with solar panels. He designed the plumbing. He just put a heater in the shower. But that's been his last 5-year goal. But it keeps him always focused on something positive. He works so hard on, I don't think he has time to get hung up in what didn't work. And it always seems like, he just seems like the luckiest guy you ever knew. He wants some really nice pine boards for the floor. He finds an old barn they're tearing down. They don't want the wood. And it's got 18-inch pine boards, 100 years old. Keeping your mind and energy focused on what you want to accomplish leaves little bandwidth for non-productive thoughts. Our memories, our fears, if we're focused on the future, on what we're doing, we attract what we think about. All that energy out there. But we have to believe it. If it says, well, I might get a cabin sometime. Well, if someone gives me one, I'll take it. But if you say, no, this is what I'm going to do, the universe will work with you. Jane Fonda has been a lifelong activist. In the opening of her book, What Can I Do? She says, when I was young, I thought activism was a sprint, and I worked around the clock hoping for quick change. When I was older, I learned activism is a marathon, and I learned to pace myself. At 82, this was a few years ago, I realized it is neither sprint nor marathon. It is a relay race. The most important thing we adults can do now is join and support the next generation of climate activists ready to lead the movement. It is to them that I dedicate this book. Her lifelong commitment to activism taught her how to continue her work into future generations. How much of her success, insight, and ability to attract young people to the cause was assisted by the infinite web of energy that connects everything. Now, we know with Jane Fonda, it doesn't hurt to have movies, TV shows, and workout videos. I mean, that's part of her web of influence. But she still had to concentrate on how she was going to use that influence. And she concentrated on activism. In closing, I'll use a quote from Sun Moon, 12/13/59. God's mind is not only in his word, but also in everything he created. God's mind exists wherever we go, in heaven or on earth. Blessings.